Welcome back, my dear ladies, to another episode of the Amazing Aquarian Age Woman. I'm Tanya, your host, and today I'm excited to present to you Mila. Hi, Mila.
Hi Tanya. Hi everyone.
Mila is an evolutionary astrologer, and now I'm really excited to hear from you, Mila. There are so many different astrologies. There is a Vedic astrology, tropical, Babylonian, and evolutionary astrology. Why evolutionary astrology?
Well, I started, as most people, with the Western traditional astrology almost 3 years ago now. And it opened a whole new world for me. It gave me a lot of insights into why people are the way they are, why they act the way they do, why some people, get on better together than others. So it gave me a lot of insight into human psyche. But I am natural investigator, even from human design. And there was just something missing for me. And when I came across my current teacher, evolutionary astrology teacher Simon, and his videos, it just something clicked for me because evolutionary astrology always digs deeper and goes into the why. So it's not just okay, things are the way they are, but why are they the way they are? And yeah, for someone with very investigative nature, it was the right fit.
Ah, cool. So, like traditional astrology, that's like the Western astrology, and how is that different to evolutionary astrology, other than asking for the why?
Evolutionary astrology is very new. It practically was discovered around the same time as discovery of Chiron, which was in 1970s. So it's not been around for a very long time. It's pretty much evolutionary astrology and human design. I kind of go hand in hand. They were both about came through in about the same time, and both, to my understanding, have been downloaded. They were downloads. The founder of evolutionary astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green, and also Ra for human design, they downloaded the material from, from the universe. And the belief is that is to assist us through the transition to Aquarian age. So evolutionary astrology is very new. It's literally maybe 50 years old, and it gives a deeper insight.
Wow, I didn't know that about the human design. That's very fascinating. Really, I learned something new now from you.
Well,
Cool.
human design is very new to me as well. I'm just dipping my toes in it, but it and also it's a completely different um, science. So they said don't mix the two together. They complement each other, but you don't replace one with the other. So I'm just dipping my toes in it. I'm very new to human design, but it really is fascinating. All these new ways of looking at things that's been around for a very long time. Like astrology has been around for thousands and thousands of years, but we are changing as like collective, and we need new tools to understand ourselves.
Cool. Yeah, I hope to get somebody on online for an interview soon about human design, but today we're speaking about evolutionary astrology. So, what path led you to evolutionary astrology? What happened in your life?
Well, my life in a good Plutonian fashion is going through a lot of transformation about every couple of years. And as I'm getting older is becoming more and more frequent and more intense. So about a year and a half ago, when my ex boyfriend and I broke up, and I returned from Mexico back to England, I was kind of soul searching and trying for like looking for deeper answers. And I was already studying astrology at the time, but it just wasn't kind of giving me the answers that I was looking for. And then a friend of mine just passed on a video to me from, like I said, my current teacher Simon, and I watched it, and just something clicked for me, and it was um, so it's evolutionary astrology just doesn't give you the answers to the mundane everyday 3D reality life, but it prompts you to look deeper. It's practically the astrology of the evolutionary path of the soul. So it's looking into why are we here? Why did we incarnate in this time? because Pluto is the desire for the incarnation. In evolutionary astrology, like the core of the chart is Pluto, because the Pluto represents the soul's desire for incarnation, that there has to be a desire for the soul to want to incarnate and, go into human body and have an experience. And there is a reason for that. Like what does the soul wants to experience? So that was the click that I had. Like, it's not just like, okay, well, we go through work and relationship and, everybody has questions about these everyday things, but why? Why are we having the experiences we are having? Like, we always attract um circumstances and people that are helping us to grow, like that are supporting us on our evolutionary path. And evolutionary astrology gives the insight of why the things are happening the way they are, and also where we coming from. So what did the soul experience previously? And it's pretty much continuation of the path of the story. Like, this is just another chapter of the book, a big book of the soul's lives. And that was fascinating for me. And there is just like evolution, astrology itself, it's a rabbit hole. You can you can just keep diving layers and layers and never know everything. And evolutionary astrology is just a completely new rabbit hole. So it was a good fit, and yeah, I've been fascinated by it ever since.
Wow, this is cool. About the Pluto, this is interesting. Uh, do you think that the soul just keeps coming back and trying to just walk this path that it wants to go?
Well, my teacher, he always says that sometimes a soul works multiple lifetimes on the same thing from different angles. So, for example, I am Pluto in Scorpio generation, born in 1985. Pluto in Scorpio, that's like double Scorpio, because in evolutionary astrology, you have the house, the sign, and the house, the sign, and the planet is the same archetype. So the eighth house, Pluto and Scorpio is the same archetype. So having Pluto in Scorpio is like double whammy. It's double Scorpio. And this archetype is all about, loss, betrayal, abandonment. Obviously, it's about self-empowerment. So for the soul to experience the self-empowerment, to become self-sufficient and self-reliant, because that's the opposition, Taurus, it has to go usually through difficult times, through challenges, that makes the soul, the person in the experience, feel abandoned, betrayal. There is a loss, there is a suppression of something, and usually the soul wants to experience this archetype from different angles. So maybe in one lifetime is the person that is empowered, and maybe they experience some loss and that makes them feel disempowered, or they start from the point of disempowerment and that then pushes them onto the path to become empowered. So my teacher, he always says that it doesn't mean just because the soul is experiencing something in this lifetime that is the first time or the last time. It could be one of the times in a multiple experiences of the same thing. So it really is fascinating. And even like when during the class we were practicing on my chart, he said that, well, it's just another one. It's just another one of these stories. It's just the current experience. But how, like, the chart gives you a potential. It doesn't mean that it's going to materialize. Our chart is kind of like a blueprint, and it's a potential for evolutionary growth and for self-realization and self-actualization. But whether the person actually does that or not, it's our free will.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know whether that answered the question.
Um, yeah, it was very interesting what you said. You said the Pluto in Scorpio generation. What years would that be?
So that would be from end of 1984, 85. I'm at the beginning of it. So I think even people born in 84 at the end already have Pluto in Scorpio. And then till about 1995, I believe. Yeah, Pluto is usually in one sign a long time. No, it would be longer than that. It's probably 97 or 98. I would have to double check, but Pluto is in one sign a long time. It's generational, so it's over a decade. It's like 15 years.
Yeah, so like the whole generation is for.
Yeah, there is a whole generation of that's why like people born in the same generation with Pluto in the same signs, they share certain characteristics. Like
Yeah.
because obviously the Pluto theme will be, similar because of the sign, not the house. That's unique to each person. But like Pluto in Libra generation, they obviously their desire for um, growth is through relationship. They reflect a lot. They learn about themselves through the other.
Yeah, yeah. I think my Pluto is in Libra, yeah.
Yeah, you are the Pluto Libra generation.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now we see these newest babies. If you have nephews and nieces, little kids, they are all the Pluto in Capricorn generation.
Ah,
So
and
they
how
breaking down the entire system.
that's what they're gonna do here.
Well, they kind of just follow themselves. They don't follow any rules. They like I can see it on my little nephew or on my little niece. They don't listen. They just do what they want to do, and they like blind spots, and they just go for what they want. Like literally, if you're saying something that they don't like or they don't align with, they just like don't hear you. they just
How
they,
cool.
they find in their own structures.
Wow, you're right. Yeah, it makes so much sense when you say it. Wow, cool. Yeah,
And then
there's a
if
lot
you have
going to disrupt much more
yeah.
than we already prepared. We started to prepare my generation and then your generation and now the next ones.
Oh, the Pluto in Aquarius, that's gonna be interesting. That's Pluto is moving briefly into Aquarius next year, so that's going to be a huge change. And then it's going to go back into Capricorn, but then it's going to fully go into Aquarius in 2024, January 2024, and it's going to remain there for 20 years. So
Mm.
that's going to be huge.
And what do you think would that what changes will that bring? Pluto
Well,
in.
Aquarius is all about individuation, and obviously we are in the age of Aquarius already. We started the age of Aquarius. Is the transition from age of Pisces to age of Aquarius, and yeah, once Pluto get into Aquarius, it will be everything will transform because obviously Aquarius being ruled by Uranus is unpredictable. So anything can happen, but it's more the age of individuation. So people will not no longer many not many people will be willing to follow the share ideal, the concept, like what everybody been doing all these years. Like it's like this what everybody is doing, the standard, like you go to university, you finish, you get married, you get a job, you get a mortgage, and it just doesn't work for everyone. Like people are finding that they want different things. They want to be themselves. They don't want to trade their time for money and just work all the time. And this is what's going to be more like people are going to realize who they are, what they want, and act on it, and don't just follow what somebody else tells them to do. And yeah, Pluto in Aquarius is just going to like we have observed in past year Pluto in Capricorn how the entire structure is crumbling down. The governments and the financial systems, everything is crumbling down. Everything that we've been like relying on for all these years, because obviously Capricorn is in opposition with Cancer, which is like the security, stability, and all that now is like shifting. Everything is transforming, and once it moves into Aquarius, we get a little taste of what it might be like. But then it's going to go back into Capricorn to do some extra work in there, and then fully 2024, Pluto in Aquarius, and then we'll see how everything is going to shift. So practically, the world will be a completely different place in upcoming 20 years, and especially with all these generational planet, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they are all going to shift signs. In 2027, all of them will be new signs. So Pluto is the first one to shift in 2024 into Aquarius, and then Uranus and Neptune are going to follow 25, 26, going back and forth because they retrograde back into the signs they are at now. And these are planets that impact the collective, literally the entire world. So them shifting all three, like after each other, that's going to be a huge shift. Like the world is going to completely change in the upcoming, within the next 5 years, we'll see some huge shift. And then from 2027, the world is going to become a different place.
Yeah, the year 2027 also comes up in human design. It's like something
Yeah,
very
the phoenix, the rising phoenix, isn't it?
happening. But when I question the human design experts I meet, they always say, I don't know, something completely new is going to happen after 27. Hmm, we will
Yeah,
see.
because they said that we've been in the, like, literally, I don't know much about human design, so I don't want to like say things that I don't understand, but I know that we've been in this cross of planning, they call it, which is like the transitionary period. And then it's the rising phoenix or sleeping phoenix, something with the phoenix. So that's obviously phoenix is also associated with like a Pluto, the metamorphosis that everything burns to ashes and then you rise like a phoenix, like the new person, new beginnings. And so it's all connected. Everything seems to be pointing to the same thing, that everything will be transforming. And the life as we know it is it's already been transforming in past 2 years. We've seen a lot of changes, a lot of shifts, and for people, many people, their life now is very different to what it was 2 years ago before 2020. And this is just going to accelerate the changes.
Yeah, do you think that was just the beginning, the last 2 years?
Oh yeah, this was the transition. This was the something that kind of shook us up
Mm.
to give us a reason to rethink our lives. And for a lot of people that was kind of like um, push a push to rethink their life. Like a lot of people during the past 2 years, especially 2020 2021, when they were at home and they had the time to actually think about their lives, a lot of people came to realization that the life that they've been living was not really what they wanted, or maybe the person they were wasn't really who they really are and who they want to continue to be. And for a lot of people that was a starting point of a transmutation. So a lot of people now are different to, like, they feel different to how they felt 2 years ago.
Definitely, yes. Yeah. It was more of an activation, maybe also.
Yes, that's the word,
Like
activation.
Pluto is coming to shake things up, and
Oh,
you
for sure.
have to find your new way and transform.
Yes.
What else do you think is going to change in the next 20 years? So, different money, different ways of thinking, expressing ourselves.
And from the courses that I'm still part of, there is a lot of agreement on the fact that people will not um, they will not live the way that we've been living, that everybody will be helping everybody, the Piscean age where it's all like very Christian and everybody helps everyone, and people sacrifice themselves, and it's like a lot of martyrdom and stuff like that, and victimhood, victimization. So it's more going to be people going to become more um, not necessarily selfish, but I think more people are going to be stronger in setting up their boundaries. So they're going to become more individuated and more authentic. And then it will be easier for people to establish their boundaries and actually be who they really are. Do what they really want to do rather than do something that someone else wants them to do or expects them to do. And that's probably going to become more and more prevalent, where it's not going to be people just doing something for the sake of paying bills, but people will actually want to do something that gives them a sense of purpose and that makes them feel this is me and this is what I want to do in the world. And it's not just the sense of, oh, anybody can do this job, but I want to do it because I'm good at it, or this is what I enjoy, or this is what I want to spend my time doing in exchange of money as an energy or whatever else. I'm sure there will be a different exchange in modalities, not just money, because that's shifting obviously as well with the age of Aquarius. And also a lot of people are talking about the communities, like like people living around people who are like-minded, thinking in the same way. It doesn't have to be necessarily same location, but more and more people are becoming connected thanks to technology, which is very Uranian. People are getting connected to people who are on the same fractal, who are in alignment with the way of life that they want for themselves.
That's true. I see this more and more this year. In 2020, I couldn't see that yet, and I was trying also to connect to like-minded people, but now I see it more and more happening. Like for I'm very much into nutrition, so I see people establishing forums and connecting with each other, interviewing each other. If it's about YouTube, if it's on YouTube, it's like that. Or people with the same, as you said, way of thinking. They want to create communities online and offline. And it's much easier right now online, I guess, but slowly, slowly, or maybe it's even at the same time, we can create also physical communities. I see it more and more this year. What the last 2 years, people were maybe not ready yet.
I think so. Yeah, they kind of coming out of their shadow now,
Or
in
they
a
were,
sense.
yeah, not entirely transforming yet, just shaking up by Pluto, but not really aware of what's coming next and what that we have to connect more in the near future. Yeah, still maybe still waiting to go back to 2019, but we're not going back.
No, no, that's not happening. 2019 is truly, truly gone. There just too much happened since 2019, and like personally, I wouldn't want to go back. I don't know how about you, but like what I found out about myself and the things I've learned, I cannot unlearn. I cannot go back to the person I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because I am someone completely different. And I'd like to hope for most people that these past 2, 3 years, people grown. They've learned something new. A lot of people, are awakening in their spiritual path, in the evolutionary path, and it's just impossible to go back. Once you learn something, you just cannot go back to how you were before you knew what you know now. So yeah, the world cannot, it's impossible, it cannot go back to 2019.
Yes, right. Hmm. That's why the evolutionary astrology is so interesting for you, I guess. Where we can go back to evolving in this life and helping the soul to transform and yeah, become better in life.
Yeah, it's just like I think on the conscious, subconscious level, depending on the person and where they're at on their path, like people see repeating themes in their life. They like like I'm sure you have a friend who said like, oh, why do I always attract the same kind of guy and always the same thing happen, or same job or something the same. And there seems to be in every person's life that there definitely is some kind of repeating pattern. So people do recognize that there is something. And like they say, I'm not sure exactly how the saying goes, but universe always presents you with the same exam until you learn and you pass the exam. So that's pretty much what it's like with the evolutionary astrology. It just kind of validates that feeling by giving the explanation that, oh, well, this is probably what you might be going through and this is why. And like kind of gives people a explanation of what the soul has chosen prior to incarnation and why they might be going through the challenges or the situation they're going through. Or there could be, like like you mentioned, a certain activation point which changes everything. And yeah, like to me personally, it's fascinating, and it's really heartwarming to kind of have these answers. It doesn't give me the solution necessarily, because obviously we all have a free will. So that is the difference, actually, the main difference I find between the normal kind of astrology and evolutionary astrology. That evolutionary astrology doesn't do predictions. You don't go to astrologer and say, oh, tell me what to do, because that's not what it's about. Evolutionary astrology is like Plutonian, it's about self-empowerment. So it's to help person to understand themselves. So then, because nobody else knows about somebody else's life other than the person who is living it. So nobody else really can tell someone else what to do would be the right thing for the person, because the answers are within each and every one of us. Like they say, the the seed, like in an acorn, it knows it's going to grow into the tree and stuff like that. So that's why evolutionary astrology, it doesn't tell people go and do this, go and be with this person or get this job, but it tries to help people understand themselves, so then it's easier for them to find the answers that would serve their highest good. But then every experience is good, so there is no such a thing as bad choice, really, because it leads to something.
It helps on the path to the
Yeah,
solution that the soul has chosen, right?
I always see it as a, like, when you're driving with a car and you're following GPS and you make the wrong turn, but then it all gets recalculated and it still shows you how to get to your final destination. I see life like that. You're still gonna get where you need to go. It's just, there are different routes of getting there, but each route's going to teach you something.
Yeah, very fascinating. Yeah. Mila, you do private readings as well for people, and I'm sure you include all that what you talked about. How 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 can people find you, and what will they expect if they want a reading with you?
Well, I'm still very new to this. So I have social media. I don't have a website just yet, but I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Obviously, people can reach me by my email. I'm on WhatsApp as well. Most people don't use phone anymore, like a phone number. But yeah, I'm available on social media, and I'll be happy to assist in any way I can. Help people to find, well, I mean, I can't tell them what to do, but perhaps help them to find understanding within themselves of their situation and what they're going through, and perhaps gives them some tools that might help them on their path.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very beautiful. Um, People can find you under the name Moonlight Soul, and I will be linking all necessary below the video, so people can reach you if they want. Yeah, it was a very beautiful talk with you, Mila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, is there anything you would like to share for women who are listening, or even men who are listening, about evolutionary astrology?
Well, generally about life itself, I think a lot of people are really hard on themselves. We all seeking kind of perfection, which is very Piscean archetype, that we feel guilty and we seek perfection and then we feel guilty for not being perfect. So I think the most important thing for people is just to, be patient with themselves. And the other most important thing is to be true to themselves, to find out what it is that they really want, and just go for it, rather than try to please everybody else or try to follow some societal standards. Just be authentic, and the right people and the right thing will always find you. You don't have to be liked by everyone, but the people that are yours, they will always find your way to you. So I think that's important for people to understand, that it's not about being liked by everyone and having everything that everybody else is having, but to be yourself.
Amen, sister. Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much, Mila.
Thank you, Tanya. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah, yeah, same here. It's been a very beautiful interview. And yeah, and thanks a lot. And I wish you a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye.
Bye.